Hello everyone, my name is Luis Cordova and today we will be learning how to complete an assessment tool for our SLO cycle at West Los Angeles College. Before we begin, let me direct you to our campus website where you will find the assessment tool in a PDF file. So to get to that link, you want to click under Faculty and Staff, go to Instructional Resources and click the SLO link, which will take you to our main SLO webpage, which contains our approved course SLOs, our PLOs, our institutional outcomes, our SLO calendars, and of course the assessment tool that we'll be working with today. So to download the assessment tool, you want to click on the Forms and Reports and click the very first link titled SLO Course Assessment Tool September 2013. The assessment tool will open up in a PDF file. I highly encourage that you save this before you get started into your desktop or into a USB. You want to click under this save icon or mini disk icon, title it. I'm going to put it in my desktop. You can put it anywhere in your desktop, Dropbox, or your USB. But in this case, I'll put it on my desktop. I'll save it. And then I can work directly from that file. So once you're in your saved assessment tool file, you'll have the luxury to save at any time or to modify as many times as you want and have it stored somewhere safe. The first page is what we complete for phases 1 and 3, which are essentially assessment and reassessment. They mirror each other and essentially are looking at the course in depth, looking at what the data shows and then making an interpretation of that data. But the tool starts off with very basic information, requesting the semester in which you're assessing. It's important that you click the arrow and indicate the correct semester you're working on. So we're in spring 2015. I want to indicate that. I'm in phase 1. You'll have two options, phase 1 or phase 3. You want to follow your SLO calendar appropriately to know which phase you're in. Then you want to indicate the course name. I teach English, and this semester I'll be assessing English 101. And even though it doesn't indicate it here, you want to indicate the section number as well, since we assess all of our sections. So if it's 1, indicate what that section is, indicate your name and get credit for this assessment, and then you move on to adding which SLOs you're assessing. And this is an important part of this phase because we want to indicate the accurate and approved SLO, and the way to figure that out is to either click on this link or cut and paste it into a web address, or go directly to the website again under Course SLOs. Under Course SLOs, you'll find a master spreadsheet with everything that's approved, that has gone through an addendum process, through a formal approval and review process that permits an SLO to be assessed. So once you click on this Course SLO link, in order to view the SLOs, you want to click this link that says to view the course SLOs for your course. Click here. What you'll get is a spreadsheet with all the approved SLOs and tabs at the bottom separating the SLOs by divisions. So I want to go to Language Arts and pull out the English 101 approved SLO. So once I'm here, I'll click, or I'll copy and paste, I should say, the SLO, and then paste it into the PDF file. So at the end of the course, a successful student will be able to argue a point and support it in writing using extensive evidence from outside sources. Most SLOs will have this beginning phrase at the end of the course, a successful student will, which is a strong indication that you have an appropriate SLO there. The criterion level is also on the master spreadsheet. And if you see right at the bottom of the SLO, you'll find the criterion level for all courses. And it's usually something like at least 75% of the students will achieve the SLO. Criterion level, in other words, is a benchmark for the course. You don't want to make this up either. You want to make sure that you're pulling it out from the master spreadsheet on our campus website. Okay. If you're assessing 2 SLOs, make sure you at the next SLO. If you're assessing 3, you do the same. From this section, you move on to the assessment instrument, indicating what type of instrument you use to assess your students. In our case, we always use an essay. So I'm clicking under essay. In many cases, other disciplines use multiple choice exams or a presentation. Indicate which is the type of instrument you're using. So a very simple, straightforward section of this tool. The next part is requesting a rating scale or a rubric scale. And there are 2 ways to approach this. One way is to briefly summarize what a 4 means, what a 3 means, what a 2 means. For example, a 4 might mean exceeds SLO, let's say more than exceeds the SLO. 3 can be meets the SLO adequately. 2 can be somewhat meets the SLO. And a 1 can be does not meet the SLO. You can phrase it in any manner that you want. The other approach you can take is to attach a rubric. If you have a more detailed rubric with criteria, you can attach it and just indicate here, refer to attached rubric. And I'll show how you can attach a file towards the end. Another approach, I'm going to erase this. Another approach is to break it down by percentages. Perhaps a 4 is 90 to 100% in a multiple choice. A 3 is an 80 to 90%. Okay. A 2 is 70 to 80%. That's another way to approach this. If you're thinking of developing a rubric, iRubric is a pretty cool site that can assist you with developing that. The report of data is perhaps the core of this document, along with the interpretation of the data. It is here where you indicate how many students received a 4, how many students received 3s, how many students received 2s, and so forth, just like it's indicated in the example here. So of the 40 students, 15 received 4, because we want to correlate this with the rating scale. 10 received 3s, 5 received 2s, and 10 received 1s. So it's a simple breakdown that correlates with your rating scale and makes an indication of what happened with the assessments. The interpretation of data is perhaps the most important part of this document, because it lends us the opportunity to look at, to explain some of these insights we've analyzed in our course. And we can pinpoint anything from strengths to weaknesses that you saw. perhaps explain why some students succeeded. In some, what you want to do is zoom in deeply into the course and provide some type of insight of what is occurring in the course level that you're working with. It's here where we will provide the opportunity to look at what we do at the course level and try to make improvements. And the last part of phase one is to submit your samples for each of the rating scales you indicated under this section here. And even though that's requested on page 2, the bottom of page 2 of the assessment tool, it's actually part of phase 1. So please do attach your student samples once you complete page 1 of this assessment tool. You can either attach them in an email along with the PDF file, which is my personal preference, or you can submit it directly through this PDF system and attach everything directly through it. And that will conclude the first part of the assessment cycle. So in short, phase 1 is the completion of page 1 of the assessment tool. I hope this facilitates your creation and your analysis in your next assessment endeavor, and that it is a seamless process that permits us to move towards student success.